Hello everyone and welcome to the second round of the Preserve Championship. Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, along with Dustin Skorupinski. And Dustin, you decided to come back not only for a second round of golf, but commentary as well. Thanks for joining me, buddy.
Thanks for having me back again, Terry. I needed some redemption out here.
Well, we've got a great group. Adam Hammes, Anthony Barela, along with Jordan Castro and Colten Montgomery. And it's July 4th. I don't think it gets any more American than disc golf.
Absolutely not.
Here we are, Parsay Productions again with the huge assist with the drone flyovers. And we're on hole number 1, 667 feet. You really just don't want to somehow find this OB on the left side. Throw it out pretty much anywhere into the middle and then toss over. And hopefully you don't get caught up by one of those trees. And Adam Hammes has the lead on this card at 11 under. It's a pretty big crush by Hammes. We're going to do our best to give you guys what the players were throwing. What do we see from Adam there?
Looks like that was an Onyx from Adam there.
Colton's got an S-line DD3, and that turned over, pushing over to that right side, trying to bring those trees into play. Anthony Barela.
Looks like that was a T-Bird 3 from Anthony. Going a little right on him.
And Minnesota's own Jordan Castro. Jordan, who missed the previous event, the Dynamic Disc Open, simply because of where he had previously been. So with all the COVID and such, he wasn't eligible to play. I think that was a panic on hole number 1 off the tee. Not too bad. A little roll out there for Anthony. Solid shot by Colton. It's crazy to see how much distance people like Colton get on this hole to make things a little bit shorter. Again, 667 feet. This hole came in as the 10th most difficult. So right around the middle of the pack, 54% of the field carding birdies. Now, you saw the threesome yesterday. You're out here for your second round. Do you feel like players still get nervous, even at big events, as we see Colton hit a huge putt?
Oh yeah, they got to be feeling some nerves out there, especially on the first hole, even if it's not the first round.
Yeah, might be a little magic salts or something that Anthony is rubbing on his disc there. Interesting fact, Anthony has grown 16 inches in the last year and a half.
Looks like he could have used a few more inches there.
Go ahead, Colton, if you want.
A little bit off the mark. Castro will clean up for his par. Again, 3 of the players starting out at the 10 under, which is a decent opening round. You'd like to think that's pretty good, and it was fine, but things were so competitive. This is all the way back, I believe, on the 4th card, which shows you just how tough the field was during the opening round. We saw Castro open with the 15 under during the opening round. Pretty incredible. Let me move over to one of the shorter holes, hole number 2. This one comes in at just 284 feet. This is clearly a definition of a tunnel shot, but it feels like if you're clean off the tee and you get past the first 100 feet or so, it opens up a little bit more. and should filter to the basket. 12th most difficult hole out here on the course. I got to assume these guys are clubbing down considerably. Do you know what Adam was throwing there?
Looks like Adam threw a zone there.
Double tree hit. I think that's a Lux Link. And I know kind of a go-to mid for Barela is a Rock 3. That's what we're going to see from him here.
Nice, Anthony. Nice shot.
Looks like it treated him pretty well there.
That's one way of doing it.
All right, so there's maybe an alternative fairway over there on that left side. Colton's got a little bit of work to do. Inside the circle, no problem there for Adam Hammis. Adam is someone that grew up playing in Wisconsin, actually not too far from here, maybe 4.5, 5 hours to the east of where we are, located in northern Minnesota right now. He's from northern Wisconsin. In fact, I ran a number of tournaments that Adam played in when he was just a little kid. Now that he's pushing all of 20, 21 in that neighborhood, it's getting to be an old man. All right, move over to hole 3, 5th most difficult, 426 feet. Still plays under par, averaging 2.8, and a really errant shot. You could find maybe OB on that left side. The right side is not out of bounds, but it's definitely not pleasant. So if you're a righty backhander, you certainly don't want to turn anything over here.
Oh, I yanked it. Come on. Horrible shot.
Okay, Adam doesn't like it. I think that's a fair statement. And this is incredible. This is a Rock 3. That it still didn't even look full power for Anthony. Jordan thinks it's OB off the tee, and it looks like it stops for him. If I had an MVP pun there, I'd say it was drifting to the OB, because it was a drift. Dustin, if you're going to be along for the commentary, you're going to have to put up with all the terrible puns. I'm just saying, I'm only getting warmed up here. Adam pitches up. Castro online. Not quite enough power for the uphill putt. Almost the same distance here for Colton. Pretty solid start here for Barela. We hope you guys are enjoying all the beautiful tones and sounds that are coming naturally here from the course out here at the preserve. Just before the round, Colton was telling me, he's like, man, I'm going to be the old man on this card. I'm like 26, and he's the old man on the card, which is pretty incredible. So we're going to move over to hole number 4, 6th most difficult, thanks to Parsay for the incredible flyovers here. This one's 701 feet, and you can put a huge crush on this and certainly make light work of the approach shots. Barela going with a forehand off the tee, which is somewhat surprising to me.
Looks like that was a destroyer out of his hand.
Yeah, just still plenty of distance, and really just putting yourself in a good position here is all he's looking to do. I'm just surprised that we're not seeing more of a full flex out of Barela with all the power that he has. And I could say the same of Adam. And they're in great positions. I could just see them trying to bite off a little bit more.
Yeah, with those trees up there by the basket, I would definitely want to be as close to them as I could be off the tee, just to give me an easy line through there.
Yeah, and Jordan with that pretty much just turns over and finishes, and you hear the snap by Colten, and it turns, and then at the end kind of just finishes off onto that left side. Looks like he might have a little bit more room over there, at least from that left side.
Go.
So this is a little spoiler if you don't want to know about Eagle McMahon, but the urban legend has it that he had rolled this past the basket during round 1, and it came back in bounds, and apparently during round 2 he rolled it past the basket but then made the comeback putt for the also elusive OB birdie. And when I think about our power throwers, I put people like Barela, Hammis, Colten, all right in that lineup. So it's pretty incredible to think that Eagle somehow was another 250 or 300 feet past where these guys landed. Solid putt by Colten. So just a little geography for everyone. They're right next to hole number 1's tee. And now after you've played this first 4-hole loop, we actually have probably a good, 500 feet maybe at least?
At least.
500 to 700 foot walk over to hole 5 to the next long par 4 that they're going to play. Uh-oh, I'm smelling a star frame if Hammis can convert. You show up and everybody birdies, Dustin. Nice work.
Good old fellas.
I do what I can.
You certainly do. It's the elevated pin. Now we're going to move over after, like I said, a little bit of a walk. Hole 5, 910 feet, comes in as the third most difficult, averaging 3.85. So it still comes in under par, but the third most difficult hole on the course. And here's your chance to just absolutely let it rip. Here's some, I hope those are water jugs being filled behind us.
Yeah, it was another hot day out there, so we were all filling up the water bottles as often as we could.
That's a force by Adam. And it was a destroyer just a moment ago by Barela.
We got Jordan throwing a panic here.
Yeah, it seems to be a pretty popular go-to driver for him throughout. I know we'll mention it a couple of times, but he seems to really lean on that one. And this is a DD3 here by Colten. I feel like the only mistake that you don't want to make on this hole is to be short and right. And I hate to say it, but that's kind of what Adam's experiencing here. If you don't make it all the way to the bend, you're going to have to go out and around just like he's doing right there.
Didn't turn it, did I?
Oh,
That's not OB, is it?
OB. Who needs OB on this course? Come on now. That was a trace, I believe, by Jordan. This is a different color DD3. So it kind of seems like these guys are talkative. Of course, Adam and Anthony have traveled around together. They've become pretty good friends in the last few years. Would you say it was a relatively talkative group, or what was it like for you out there?
Yeah, they were talking a lot. Past tournaments they've played together, they bring up memories and whatnot.
Any ribbing or giving each other a hard time?
Yeah, a little bit here and there.
I mean, that's what all good friends do. And just really routine-looking birdie there for Barela. 22% of the field did birdie this hole. 70% of the field parred it, and then 8% of the field took above par. And happy to report no double bogeys or worse. Only bogeys were had on this hole out here today. Pretty solid as we move over to hole number 6. Beautiful hole 6. This green, this tee is only used during this tournament play, I've heard. Otherwise, there's a regular tee that is shorter and to the right. But this comes in as the 14th most difficult, and it tells us it's 414 feet. What's Barela throwing here to clear the water?
Looks like a T-bird 3 from Barela here. Scooting right up there on the left side.
As you can tell by the Prodigy banner, feather banners, just a little bit of wind. And of course, Prodigy presenting sponsor out here, along with Airborn, Kale, and well, I think Kale's smile pays the bills, if we're being honest out here. Thanks to the Disc Golf Pro Tour, Jeff Spring, your tournament director. This was an event that really was a replacement to us not being able to play Portland this year due to COVID. So the fact that we can be out here at Kale's new property, playing this track, pretty sweet. And that looked like a good break actually for Adam to kind of slow him down.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you're in deep here, it looks like, as we're seeing by Colton, not necessarily a clear look at it. Not sure if those are wild. They sound like baby chimpanzees out in the preserve.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised. There's all kinds of cool stuff out here.
All right, let's be fair. Someone like Madison Walker is going to be yelling at us, telling us exactly what species of bird that was, but sometimes I just make stuff up. See the birdie there by Jordan. Anthony making easy work of it. I think this was an onyx drive by Adam. And no problems for the cleanup there. And just to be clear, no manufacturers are supporting this broadcast in any way, shape, or form, nor do I have any additional sponsors, just my amazing Patreon subscribers and supporters. So thank you guys so much. I do want to thank all of the players. On very short notice, I actually asked them to try and provide as many of their shots as they could, and we're trying to read them off where we can. So we move into hole number 7. This is, again, one of the shorter holes that we find out here, but certainly not one of the easiest. In fact, it is the second most difficult hole on the course, which is just an incredible stat to me at 294 feet with the hanging basket, and it's the second most difficult hole on the course.
Also coming in at the second hardest hole to film.
Yes, that good call. Absolutely right. When you're out in the sunshine and then trying to single camera it into the Jordan making a salad over there. The no look by Adam, that's a wasp. This is a lone howl by Colten. It just literally looks like you're throwing into a dark hole, which is probably how they feel. So give everyone out there a little tip or trick. What did you learn from day one filming, the first ever tournament for you, to the day two filming? Anything in particular?
Just different angles to be at, especially particularly on this hole.
Thanks.
I mean, like I said, it was one of the hardest holes to film for me, but trying to get that good angle off the tee was
a little extra challenging, especially on this one. I could understand that. And pretty sweet Barela, who's really off to a great start here. It's going to be one of the birdies that we find. 25% of the field took birdies out here.
Best drive I've seen.
Dude on my card put it closer yesterday.
Really?
He's like under it.
Wow.
Yeah, not too much in the park statistic. It says 5% of the players are in the parked neighborhood. So solid shot there by Colten, and saying one of his card mates yesterday as we take a look at the beautiful hanging basket found. Now we're going to move back out into the open, and I believe this comes in as the longest hole on the course, 1,110 feet, also the most difficult hole on the course. Yeah, it makes me tired just watching the preview. You got danger on the left side. The right side is not out of bounds, but it might as well be. It can get a little bit nasty over there. Barela's trying to throw down the roller. And that one gets a little squirrely.
Thank you.
He likes it.
Colton's throwing the S-line DD3 here. Nice full flight out of it. It's a great spot to be.
Yeah, just smash that one. Jordan goes with a different approach. He's going right up the middle. Looks like, well, what do you know? It's a panic. And that just really speaks, as we're watching that one kind of fade out to the left side, just the fact that you see someone like Adam going with an Annie on the force, you know, to try and get over on that. Just so powerful. See if Jordan challenges the OB line. Looks like he's going to be short of it. I'll save you all the details, but we'll say there's some heroics by one Simon Lazat out here on hole number 8. Looking forward to you guys seeing that if you didn't see it on the live coverage.
I like it a lot. Yeah.
Wow. Really interesting to see, too, to take note. I mean, we have 4 different players from 4 different manufacturers out here. And the fact that, some of these guys know each other's discs still, or just by looking at them and the flight pattern, they can guess what's going on.
There's those Minnesota Beatles again.
Yeah, that's what they are, huh? I thought he was doing some kind of yoga. I mean, really getting into it. Another forehand smash. And really, you can't ask for it to be played much better than that. Big drive, couple of forehand shots, and right there, putting for birdie. Huge shout out. I know we gave a bunch of them yesterday. I'm going to continue to. Not only to Dustin for his second time ever filming, but also the people over at uDisc, Matt, Josh, Hype Man Dan, all those guys for really making things happen. All the volunteers, spotters, supporters, everyone here at the Preserve, Kale, Prodigy, Disc Golf Pro Tour. Just truly incredible what's all come together to put this event on here so that we could be back to playing golf. We're in phase 2 of the COVID restrictions and regulations. So as Anthony puts in for birdie, we've seen a very limited amount of spectators. There was only a certain allowed amount that were allowed to be out here. And then, of course, everyone has to carry a mask with them and still continue to practice the social distancing and just really all those procedures and precautions as hopefully we find our way back to some normalcy eventually. Just enjoying the day.
Look at that view.
Okay, maybe he's waiting for the putts on hole 9, but it looked like he was just sitting there posing. Maybe he wanted you to run up and also get an Instagram photo of him.
Yeah, he was ready for his close-up.
All right, we're through the 1,100 footer. We move over here to hole number 9. And hole 9, 8th most difficult hole out here on the course. Averaging 2.7. It's 380 feet from the men's tee. The women's tee is a little bit shorter, but 380 feet with a pretty steep drop off down behind the right side of the basket. I guess behind it and right would be good ways to put it. There is a little bit of a slope on that left side, but on the right it's a sharper slope, and then it's got sand. So your putting stance just might feel a little bit awkward if you're over there. That was a T-Bird 3 again by Barela.
It looks like he might be in that sand trap beyond the basket there.
Yeah, that was a lone howl. Okay, so Adam didn't love that.
No, right over there by Anthony.
That might go in the hole.
Wow.
Oh.
Or in the sand.
I love the optimism nonetheless. Calling for it to maybe go in the hole. A little more of a skip up is what was needed there by Jordan.
Yep.
That was again a panic by Jordan. Back it up, Terry. Back up, Terry. I think he's moving over to there to light his fireworks. I mean, it's 4th of July, and I guess
All right,
he
you
maybe
can go
moved a
on
little
now,
more
right?
swiftly. And just, yeah, there's something to be said about giving this too much and going all the way deep past the basket. You know, you get to putt back uphill, but, you know, there's going to be the drop off behind it. But if you come up short, you're still looking at the death putt, you know, and could be turning into a bogey. But none of that matters to Colten. And we see the rest are pars. And here's a word from the Disc Golf Pro Tour shop. Check it out, dgpt.com/shop for all your sweet merch. As we move over here to hole number 10, 16th most difficult. So definitely one of the easier holes we'll find out on the course, at least from the MPO perspective. 299 feet, slightly uphill, and you must land on the island. Anywhere not on the island goes immediately to the drop zone. Well, one of those guys brought their Etch-a-Sketch. Sounds like they're getting ready. What do you think the chances are somebody's going to put in a huge shot, ace or otherwise, and they're going to walk right in front of your camera? What do you think that's going to happen to you, Dustin?
I'm really glad it didn't go in there, as much as I'm sure AB was hoping that it was going to be an ace. I would have liked to have caught it on camera, and I wouldn't have if it would have gone in there.
You'll learn a little maneuvering while you're out there and
Stay up.
get it.
Down.
Oh.
And it looks like Anthony just likes getting in my way today.
Left side corner pocket.
It might be just me by a little.
Barela getting things going here, and looks like these guys are all in really good position.
Thanks, Chuck. Appreciate you.
I think that's a shout out to CK34 at AOL.com. That's our boy Chuck Kennedy. Charles. That's just a guess. That's a Minnesota reference. Chuck, one of the main contributors to us having the PDGA rating system, and one of the more prolific course designers that we've ever had.
Hi, Ben.
We're going to move on. Hole number 11, 667 feet. Comes in as the 17th most difficult. Some would call that the second easiest. What would you say is the number one thing that you shouldn't do on this hole, Dustin?
Stay out of that right side. It's really thick in there. If you go off to the left, as we see that shot there go, it's quite a bit more open over there, and
Easier chance to get up and down?
yeah, a lot more opportunity to get up and down still, even if you go off to the left there.
Wow. Just so much power in the fact that it was still moving as fast as it was that far down the fairway. That was a destroyer by Barela. And I believe that was an Onyx. This is a Trace.
Come on, hurry up. Dang it. It was too tight.
And we saw that go to the right side, but that's still in a decent spot. Any farther than that, he probably wouldn't have been very in a very good position.
A little forehand action there by Colten. I think that was an FD3. And I can't say it enough. Both Hamas,
Thanks, bro.
a little positive reinforcement. I like it. With Hamas and Barela, their forehands are just so effortless. And so if you want to watch good form, and if, I don't know, maybe you have arms that are, 9 feet long, it won't hurt. But if you're looking for good, smooth form, they're just so effortless when these guys are throwing their forehands. And what I would love to see, someone like a Barela or a Hamas, I think they have enough power that they could possibly get up close enough for a long putt for an eagle here. And Jordan picking up another birdie. That's back-to-back birdies on 10 and 11. We look just outside the circle or so. Colten off the side, doesn't love it. This is Barela after going just a bit long, but his putter is dialed in. And he has just absolutely been shredding here.
Yeah, I think I might have left it in my, wrapped in my towel. I thought I lost it.
Was he looking for his Pokemon card?
Is it in there?
His birdie bag, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was a Pokemon. All right, we're moving on. Hole number 13. Or correction, I'm sorry. Hole number 12. 296 feet. Surprisingly, though, the 6th most difficult hole out here. Both the MPO and FPO play from the same tee. The only real trouble that you're going to find that's, we'll say, out of bounds is water way deep in the basket. That's the only out of bounds, but you've got to hit this tunnel shot here. I think one of my favorite parts of the caddy book, besides looking at all the beautiful graphics that were put together, is the rules and notes for this hole indicate OB, Mississippi River. So you know you're in a pretty special place when you can say that the Mississippi River is a potential OB area on the hole.
Good line. It's a little low.
Tough to say if there was enough power on that one there by Colten. Anthony's in a, is that a rock garden?
Yeah, dude. I watched the coverage and saw that. I was like,
I think Jordan was talking about watching some coverage from the 80, I think it was the 88 Olympics figure skating. He's a big fan. Barela working a little harder than you would expect. Adam finding himself in position pretty similar to where we just saw from Barela. Looks like he's going to have a straddle at it. Also working hard for the par. Sounds like off in the background we hear some kids having fun in the Mississippi River. Did you think about yelling at them at any point? Maybe tell them to pipe down?
I don't even remember hearing them out there, to be honest with you.
You're just too focused.
Yeah,
just like Colton here. Man. Taking this camera work very seriously, and we all appreciate it. We've seen now a couple of birdies from Castro since hole 10. I think 10, 11, and now 12.
It's in. It's in.
Sure is, Jordan. We love it. All right, we're going to move over now. Now to hole number 13. 10th most difficult. Averaging 2.64, which to me is pretty incredible. It's 360 feet, and it plays left to right. So if you've got a big forehand, I think it sets up well for it, but I mean a really big forehand. And I feel like you just have such a low ceiling that this turnover shot we're seeing by Jordan,
That's there for sure.
wow, that's just a power shot to put it up there so clean.
I mean, who needs a forehand when you have that?
Yeah, he's exactly, yeah, I agree with that. Castro was throwing a reactor, and I believe that was an S-line DD3 a moment ago there by Colton. The effortless approach there to it. That was a Firebird by Barela, and this is going to be a Raptor. I'm not going to say those two discs are similar. You guys can argue about that on the internet.
Thanks.
I'm just kidding, Dustin. No one argues on the internet anymore.
It's a,
They
safe,
love it
it's
all.
a safe place out there.
It's definitely a safe place. Unlike Colton there, trying to get out to a safe place, just couldn't quite pitch out. He's just buried in jail. And now he's working hard. This is his third shot. You see Jordan at, that's almost a full 40 feet. Fun fact, Jordan actually lost a considerable amount of weight, and a lot of it was from running down long putts. And then once he started making them all, he's like, okay, I guess this is the weight I stay at. It's pretty incredible. Colton struggling mightily here. Meanwhile, Barela's going to pick up yet another birdie. I think that's going to push him to 10 under on the round. 10 through 13, if you're into that sort of thing. And Hamas also with a birdie. So we're going to see 3 birdies. They're going to pick up what I believe is 3 strokes, if I do some quick math there, on Colton. So hole 13 coming out to bite Colton just a little bit. We'll see how he recovers as we move over to hole number 14. 730 feet. We have a little OB on that left side. Anything along those rails and left of that can be, or is considered, not can be, will be considered out of bounds. It doesn't have an identity crisis. Off to the right can be pretty nasty though. That one is unsure. It might not be nasty, but it's not necessarily out of bounds. That's great position.
That's another Firebird from Barela, right into the middle of the fairway.
I feel like this is just one of those situations where if you bite off more, you just have a higher likelihood of really getting out of position. It feels like Barela and Hamas just playing to their strong suit, putting it right in the middle of the fairway, and gaining another 50 or 100 feet really doesn't do you a lot of good on this hole. As Colton's pushing back the spotters. Looks to be inside the circle. Good looking approach. Now, Barela, who's literally just a few feet to the right of where we saw Hammis throw. See, now if these kids were old enough, I could use a Somebody's Closer reference from Happy Gilmore, but that movie came out before these guys were born.
We're there. We're there.
Who's this we he speaks of?
40 feet away. He barely got it across the freaking wall.
Colton just a bit deep. We'll see if he can negate the... Oh.
Almost sneaking out the back there.
Little dance party on the right side. He brought the right shirt for it. So that's what I love. He is ready. I'm right there with you, Colton. Is that Katy Perry that sings a song about fireworks? Does that sound right? Don't look at me like you don't know. So my question would be, out of everyone, now that you've spent 14 holes with these guys, who's most likely to bust out the Katy Perry fireworks song? If you had to guess. Don't worry, you're going to offend them all. who do you guess?
I'm going to give it to Colton on this one.
Okay. The old man on the card. Okay. All right. We're moving on. What are we at? Hole number 15. A par 4. I feel like this one's very attackable, but you do have to get out of the gate just a little over 700 feet. Looks like you've captured a little better position than you had yesterday, so we can see a little more of the drive. I like the adjustment. And that's exactly what you're looking to do. And yeah, that's unfortunate for Barela, especially with the power that he has.
Yeah, if that was another foot to the right, he would have been way up there about where Adam is now, I'd have to assume.
It's a force by Adam. Colton has, again, an S-line DD3. I don't know if you guys are sensing the pattern, but... Oh, that's
Wow.
incredible. Yes.
That is way up there.
Katie would approve.
It's a little high and left from Barela there.
Yeah, I would have to think that just wasn't a spot he practiced from. He probably threw a few drives out in the middle of the fairway, at least where Jordan had landed or maybe even closer. And so when he was back as far as he was after hitting the tree, that just probably wasn't in his game plan whatsoever, which is really just a compliment to where he and we all would have expected him to otherwise be. But making it look easy with the forehand again by Hammis. And, I mean, this is barely an approach by Colton after that huge drive. That was an exo-soft tactic. This is Barela from about 36, maybe 37 feet.
Oh, sit down.
So it seems like things have gone from not so great to worse here on hole 15. Doesn't get clean off the tee. Now he's got this for his par.
Oh my god.
That's certainly frustrating. Someone who's played so well, 11 under through the previous 14 holes. Colten with the easy birdie though. And Jordan's trying to get on a little heater of his own here. I think he's birdied everything since hole 10.
See, like leading up to this year, I was like the same. I never really,
Yeah.
never really got crazy water.
And unfortunately, Barella's going to give one back. Just cleaning off the chains there, making sure they're aired out as we're going to move on. Hole number 16, 378 feet, right in the middle in terms of difficulty. Ninth most difficult, 2.66 is the average. 47% of the field taking taking birdies, 42% of the field taking pars. What's that yellow one he's throwing?
Looks like that's a phase.
Wide open putt. You bet. Take that.
And here we see a force out of Adam. Right up on the hill there.
Just a bit short.
And that was a glow PD3 from Colten. Have a putt from there. See another Firebird out of Barela. Trailing off to the left.
Wow, and with this mound here, you have to be thinking about exactly where you're positioning yourself. Also, how aggressive you want to be. It slopes down behind the basket from where that is. Hopefully that'll just stay right there. I mean, a putt like that could catch edge and roll 30 or 40 feet away from you. So, of course, great that he hit some metal, but you got to be careful of those things. Jordan knew he had the wide open putt and takes advantage of it. Colten from inside that for birdie. You can hear a little bit of wind. Barela with some struggles. Here's what I was talking about with the mound. You just, it's every putt that doesn't go in has a chance to carry. And somewhat in a hurried response, we see Barela make his comebacker. So that's going to be back-to-back bogeys for Barela. Colton's trying to avoid one of his own. And so we've got the birdie by Castro, pair of pars, and the bogey by Barela. Hole 16 coming in even for those guys. And we're going to move on to hole number 17. One of the shorter holes again out here, 269, 13th most difficult. 50% of the field exactly are taking birdies out here. So we'll see what our card can do.
Nice, dude. Good treat. Thank you.
No problems for Jordan to go up right up the gap. Not that there's a lot of alternatives out here.
Adam's going with the zone here. Trailing down to the right. Maybe a little long.
Good shot, Colton.
Colton stepping right up. And just to put a little, we'll put a few different time and date stamps on this right now. The temperatures are in the high 80s, low 90s. Light and variable winds, not much to speak of. And we're going to see probably similar conditions on our final round. We saw them on Friday. Here it is Saturday. We're going to probably see similar conditions on Sunday. Also right now, I believe this was the 1 o'clock card, so as they're wrapping up, it's probably around 4, maybe 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, we were out there at the hottest point of the day.
You wanted to go jump in that water, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I was sweating coming off the course.
And as of recording time, also just as an interesting time and date stamp, it's 1:26 a.m. on what would be Sunday morning as we're recording this commentary for you guys. Here's a word from the Disc Golf Pro Tour. All right, we move over to hole number 18. And this is just a monster to finish out on. 930 feet, a par 5, both the men and the women playing it from the exact same tee. And this one's just really all about crushing it out there. Trying to get as much as you can off the tee. Of course, staying safe. Seeing how much water's edge you want to push.
Thank you.
It's a nitro panic. I think we've got a, no surprise, we're going to see a force by Hamas and then a destroyer by Barela. I feel like when you see one, you usually see the other from the counterpart.
That was an S-line DD3 from Colton. Putting him up there in a great spot.
Yeah, I feel like the prime spot is about 10 feet short of the sand trap that you just saw. Of course, 99.9% of the population in the world couldn't even get to the sand trap that Barela just put himself in. And Jordan, just a phenomenal back nine that he's having right now. He's gotten the last 8 birdies in a row. He's got a little work to do, but setting himself up at least for an eagle look on the final hole. Should say at least a birdie look, possibly even an eagle.
Yikes.
And a great skip there. So huge shout out yet again, Disc Golf Pro Tour, Disc Golf Network. Please make sure you're subscribed. Also huge thanks to you again, Dustin, for hustling around the course, capturing the footage.
Had a blast. These guys definitely put on a good show for me.
It's all said and done. I'll spoil it slightly. These guys are looking at going roughly 45 or 50 under par or something like that for the day among the 4 of them. Just incredible play.
Oh my gosh.
And he
Adam.
couldn't convert the eagle there, but Still have a nice tap-in birdie for him here.
Now this is Barela for eagle. Sweet. After throwing out of the sand trap with goofy footing. Jordan Castro trying to close things out. 8 for 8 on the back. Wow. 10 under on the back 9 holes for Minnesota's own Jordan Castro. Just all around great round, great finish there. And make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to be doing a giveaway for some free action. And I don't know. Tell me what you think is going to be the hottest score on Sunday's final round. Let me hear that from you. Put it in the comments. And you'll likely have a chance. Well, you will have a full chance to win. I can't say your chances are likely, but you could win. Thanks for joining us, Dustin.
Yeah, thanks for having me again, Terry. I hope you guys all enjoyed the coverage I was able to bring to you guys today. And we'll see you guys again tomorrow.
You deserve a raise, buddy. See ya.